JF. Hey, Tammy.
I'm still here.
JF said, I found a vet that told me that it takes at least 3 hours for Mama's C-section. She said she breeds Frenchies. She wants to make sure Mamas are awake and all puppies are latching before they go home. She isn't the cheapest, but I think it's best value. I had to make a lot of phone calls to find her. So here's comments on that. First off, yeah, she's a great, I mean, this is, if you've got a vet, we have one. Her name is Wogamoth at Animal, what is the name of the place?
Oh, Heartland Animal.
Heartland Animal in Weatherford, Oklahoma. She breeds Frenchies. In fact, she uses our studs to do that. She's a great lady. She's been doing it for a long time. She's very experienced. Having a great vet is of great value to you. Do we take 3 hours for a C-section with her? No. But she evaluates all the puppies before we leave. They're in our incubator. She knows that we know what's going on. And if we have a problem, we're coming right back to the vet. Other vets that we use in Texas, they do bring the puppies out to latch on mum to make sure that things are going good. So, look, if you're unclear as to what's going on, don't leave the vet's office. If the puppies seem to be having problems, don't leave the vet's office. Get the vet involved. Ask some questions. Unfortunately, these days, is the aftermath of COVID. Lots of these places you can't even go into the office, and they're still playing that game. Our vets aren't that way. We go into the operating room and we participate in the recovery of puppies to get them to stop breathing.
Dr. Thorne, we've got like 4 different vets.
Dr. Thorne at Territorial, Dr. Wogamoth at Heartland Animal,
yeah.
And then over in Weatherford, over in Wheeler, Texas. I can't think of the names now.
Now that you said that, I can't think of it either.
House Hill. The House Hills. 2 vets at the price of 1. They're all great. They're all very good.
Dr. Leanne and whatever her husband's name is.
Yes, right.
It's a man and wife team.
Yes, both vets.
Excellent.
Yeah, very good. Yes.
Very good.
Now in Oklahoma, there's a couple of other ones that we don't use that I get good reports from. Durant Animal Hospital, Dr. Mills down in.
And then the new girl in Elk City.
New girl in Elk City, Oklahoma. Yeah. And then there's one over at Dewey is Dewey Animal Hospital. They're all great. So yeah, but here's the thing. You know, what JF was saying, she made a number of phone calls before she ever went down this road, and she's a smart lady. So, or JF could be a man, I don't know, but either way, you did the right thing. Go do your homework, find out what other people say about it, get recommendations. We also use Arapahoe veterinary hospital, and we went there the first time. They did us a tour before we ever used them.
Yeah.
They said, would you like to see our operating room? And we said, yeah, we'd love to. And so the head guy showed us around, and it was beautiful, clean, sterile, modern equipment. I mean, you know, again, good people.
Go investigate your veterinarians, because they're working for you. You're paying the money to work for you. Donna Skevior, I love everything. Whoops, lost you. I love everything you guys produce and all of your videos. They are educational. And all of your French adorable. However, I do love brindles. Absolutely. Yeah. Nothing wrong with a brindle at all. I'm getting this reputation for not liking brindles. Not a true statement. I love brindles. Nothing wrong with brindles at all. And in fact, we used to have a dog called Tigra, who was a reverse brindle. Oh, yeah.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous dog.
That's why we named her Tigra.
Yeah, so
she looked like a tiger.
But the point here is the only reason to shy away from brindles, if you're trying to do things like tan points, it mucks it up. That's it. That's the end of that one.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with brindles. Don't get upset with me when I say...
And if you'll notice, when our tan-pointed dogs, we've got cream along with it that makes the points really creamy white tan points.
Smoker. My dog is at day 7 and she's a 4.54. When should I test again? 4.54 is just on the cusp of ovulation at 5. You'd breed that dog 2 days later. So you start breeding your dog around day 9. That is typically a little early, but not typically. Most dogs ovulate about day 9, but that's okay. I would recommend this. Test again in 2 days. Make sure the number's around a 15. If it is, breed. If you can, breed again 2 days later, and then make sure the progesterone level's above a 20. And if you do that, you'll probably be very successful. Shannon Riley talking about mastitis, and she wants to know if it's my dog is still on antibiotics from her C-section, but her breasts are warm and hard. is it safe for the puppies to nurse on that breast?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Just make sure, see what color it is.
Right.
And if it looks like the milk color, let them nurse. And put them on there and make sure they stay on there for a bit. You may take her out of the cage or wherever she's
Talking
at.
about the affected breast now,
Right,
aren't you?
right.
What Tammy's saying is you want to get that breast drained down, because
Yes.
if you don't, you can be
Immediately, or it will develop into
Yep.
an off-color milk color.
Typically the top breast, because they're not as
Because
desirable.
if you wait too long, it'll be not good for the puppies
Or mum.
or mom.
Yeah, you could lose a breast
exactly.
over this. So you could lose a dog over this. Get abscessed. You get septicemia. There's all kinds of bad things that can happen. But the point here is get it drained any way you can.
The other thing is you do not want that breast to explode, because more or less it will tear and go out that way.
Tammy's talking about an abscess breast, where the breast, then you get an abscess that erupts and it spills out everywhere.
Definitely check the milk color. Put that puppy on there if the milk color looks good.
And I go one step further, and Tammy's going to turn her nose up at this. I would get some milk on my fingers and I'd smell it. And if it didn't smell right, that's it. You're not going to give that to a puppy. If it smells right, I put it on my tongue, taste it. You're not going to hurt yourself. I mean, I guess you could, but I mean, it wouldn't be any different than drinking bad milk out of the fridge. And by George, I've done that more than once. That's one of those things. Have you ever taken bad milk? I've been really thirsty, come inside at a friend's house, got a jug of milk there, glug, 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 and it comes out in clumps, glump, glump, glump. And the moment it's in your mouth, you know that you're messed up. You start spitting it out. Well, I survived it just fine. Pyometria. What if you see signs of pyometria after she is pregnant? Well, that is likely when you could well see signs of pyometria. So pyometria is something that you see typically in young dogs, first couple of heats that haven't even bred, or dogs that have been bred, where now you've got something that's causing an infection in the uterus, and there's two different forms. There's closed and open. Closed meaning that you don't see any pus drainage. Open meaning that you do. In either case, you need antibiotics, and that absolutely can happen, and you need to get on top of it. You've got a dog that is got a nasty discharge, get his temperature, maybe go to the vet, get some antibiotics. If it's got a high temperature, it's very thirsty, no discharge, go to the vet, get a diagnosis done, get an x-ray done or an ultrasound, and find out whether or not you've got a problem with the uterus. You can have a pyometria, give antibiotics, and still have a successful litter. It doesn't mean that you'll lose the litter, but if you don't do anything, it can be a lot worse than losing the litter, and unfortunately, if you have a closed pyometria, it's very likely that you will lose that litter. Vicky M. Hello, love all your videos. She's a huge fan. What is the best puppy mash recipe you have? What additives and supplements are best, along with ground up kibble? Thank you. So, it's kind of a pertinent question, because we have a litter of puppies that have just in the last few days been introduced to their first food. And we didn't have any Royal Canine. But Mum was being fed Billjack.
Right.
And the first signs that the puppies were ready to go was her getting in the bowl of Billjack is in there.
Ready to eat.
Yes, ready to eat.
Food.
Yeah. The Mum's bowl is in there, and the puppies, if they're starting to walk around and move around pretty well, they're starting to get curious, and they got their heads in it, and they're starting to eat it.
They're licking it.
They're licking
tasting it.
Tasting it and liking it.
Yeah.
It's like great.
It's a soft bite too.
So we didn't have, what we typically use is Royal Canine Puppy Mousse. It comes in a tin. You can buy it at PetSmart, place like that. It's not cheap, but you don't need much of it, and it works. What you don't want.
At least a week of it.
Say what again?
At least a week of it.
A week of it. What do you mean?
Week's worth of food for the babies.
Oh, a can. I got you. Right. But I think the most important point about anything you're going to give to your puppies is when you start off, it's got to be mushy. You don't want to have hard pieces in it because they can choke on it, and they don't have particularly good teeth or the understanding about how to chew things. So for those reasons, they again could swallow a larger piece and choke on it. So whatever you do, what we ended up doing, by the way, in this litter, is we took the Life Abundance puppy puppy food, kibble, hard
Softened
food.
it with hot water for about 30 minutes.
Yeah, and then got a fork to it and smushed it up really well.
Right.
That's fine. They just love it. So I don't, you know, it's quite, you know, you should be feeding puppies a higher protein food, and that's what a puppy food's going to be. So any quality puppy food, I don't think you have to necessarily go out of your way to go put any special additives in it. If you've got a generally good quality puppy food, it's probably fine. And it's like you and I, you know, do I do better on lobster or steak or mac and cheese? My body will process all three of those things just fine. So I don't think you need to get overly worried about, you know, let's talk about mum for a moment. So our mum, you know, for her, we do give her, what are you putting on that now? It's omega fish oil?
Yeah, it's a vitamin E.
You're just getting vitamin E oils
Fish oil.
as a
Yeah,
liquid.
no, yeah, it's vitamin E.
After she got the puppies. Before
Yeah.
she had puppies, she was on a vitamin and she was on 5 milligrams of folic acid every day. The folic acid stops when they have puppies. And the vitamins are good things. You know, if you've got dogs that maybe have a little bit of diarrhea, probiotics are good things. You know, I think that just anything that's a quality product from a reputable manufacturer is going to be fine. And by the way, we do have on our website the Life Abundance products, including vitamins and those kind of things, and we believe in those products.
www.mybreedersupply.com.
That's right. Okay, so there's another 12 minutes of your time taken up. Thanks for watching, everybody. Be safe. Have fun with your puppies. Bye. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.